We know ball. First and goal. Mahomes slings it. It's there! Hardman! Jackpot! Kansas City!
It's over. Time to say it again, Boston. Anything's possible. Banner number 18 has been secured. The Celtics are NBA champions.
I mean, we know that we know ball around here.
Hail, hail, Michigan. They are the champions of college football 2023.
Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
It is a UConn coronation. The Huskies make history. Back-to-back national champions.
Well, we know ball, so.
You heard LeBron. We know ball, baby. We know ball. We're back. Episode 100. Episode 100, man. That's pretty cool. Welcome in, everybody, to the We Know Ball podcast. My name is Ryan, at Ryan Knows Ball. That's my Twitter/X handle. Twitter, if you call it that now, even though technically it's called X. Either way, my handle is at Ryan Knows Ball. At We Know Ball Sports, that's Instagram and that's TikTok. Check us out on YouTube, anywhere and everywhere you get your content. If you head to my Twitter or you head to those Instagram or TikTok pages, there is a link tree in the bios of each one of those pages. And the link tree itself has all the different links and places to find us. And you know, if you've been around for multiple episodes or you've been around since any particular episode or you started listening from an early point in time, I thank you for sticking around all the way until episode 100. Episode 100, you know, in terms of a milestone, I'm not sure, right? Because it's only the beginning, in my opinion, in my eyes. We have a long way to go. We have a lot of room to grow, myself included in that. I want to continue to expand this show, our capabilities, our reach, our influence, because I think most importantly, as I go on a quick diatribe here to start today's episode, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world, good and bad, in between. And I think a lot of stuff gets kind of lost in the weeds or gets pushed off by the wayside. And I think my job and my inspiration for having a show like this is to hold people to the ultimate level of accountability. I've said it before on a lot of different episodes, and it's the reason that I do have a tendency to get emotional and call people out in a lot of cases, because you got to hold people to a standard. You got to be accountable for your actions. And when we know ball and we know sports the way we do, there's a lot of money involved. There's a lot to keep track of. And a lot of times, you know, subpar effort and mediocre attention to detail and all these things can kind of get lost in the mix. And it's not fair. It's not fair to you guys as fans or myself as a fan. It's not fair to the general public. It's dishonest. And so my job moving forward is to not only hold these people accountable, but use the ball knowledge that we'll establish on this show to call those things out when they deserve to be called out. By the way, that's in a good way and that's in a bad way. And that's both. That's both. Okay? Bad way being people that deserve to be held accountable for not doing their job properly or in bad faith. And in a good way, you got to call things out positively when you see them. And I think that's the goal of this show, because ultimately, as the title states, as the broader picture tells us about this show, we know ball. So, episode 100. My name is Ryan. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. A little bit of a different timing episode for this week, for episode 100. Wanted to let the turmoil, the political turmoil, run its course over the last few days and week and a half or 2 weeks in between episodes. It's been, I guess it's been about 10 days between today's episode and episode 99. Again, not only the political turmoil, but we also have a new champion in the world of Major League Baseball. We discussed it previously on the last episode, talking about Dynasty Watch for the Dodgers, talking about how they're going to win the World Series, how they're already champions. Everybody that tuned into that World Series matchup saw what happened, especially in Game 5, where the Yankees had just had a complete and utter collapse. And I said it before on, I think, this show, but if I didn't say it on We Know Ball, I definitely said it on the We Know Baseball podcast. But the Yankees and the Dodgers in the World Series was not a matchup of the two best teams. And at this point, that's not just my speculation. That's not my hot take as a podcaster and somebody who hosts a sports show. That's not like this guy's trying to get clicks. Dave Roberts, the manager of the LA Dodgers, has come out since they've won the World Series on Mookie Betts' podcast and said their toughest test and the matchup they were most intimidated by and they were most scared of was their matchup in the first round against the San Diego Padres. The Yankees were not as good as the San Diego Padres. The Mets, who the Dodgers played in the NLCS, were not as good as the San Diego Padres. So to me, the World Series matchup, while entertaining in terms of name brand recognition and star power in the middle of the lineup specifically, outside of that, it really wasn't that entertaining. There were a couple games, yes, that they were particularly close. But after Freddie Freeman walks it off in Game 1, that series was over. It was over. And the only chance the Yankees had to pull off, and I'm not kidding when I use this word, a miracle, because them beating the Dodgers in a 7-game series would have taken a borderline miracle. The closest chance they had to pull off that miracle was Garrett Cole starting 2 games in that series and the Yankees winning both of those games. At which point, there's only 2 more games that the Yankees need to win. There's potential for them to scratch out another one against, a subpar start or a subpar effort against one of the Dodgers starting pitchers. But the only chance the Yankees had is winning both games that Garrett Cole started, and then somehow, by the grace of God, finding a way to win 2 more games in that series, which I don't think would have happened anyways. But Garrett Cole started Game 1, and the Dodgers beat them in that game. Granted, yes, it went to extra innings, and yes, it was a walk-off. But after that win, the series is over. It's over. So for me, congratulations to the Dodgers. But the World Series itself was a little bit underwhelming. The ultimate result was not surprising. It was, in fact, inevitable. To quote famously Thanos from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But ultimately, the results of the World Series, specifically Dodgers and Yankees, it was an inevitable result. I picked Dodgers in 5. That's exactly how it happened. Anybody with an actual brain that was unbiased, that had watched the Dodgers in any detailed fashion over the last 3 weeks of the season or any time in the postseason before the World Series, could have told you that's exactly how it was going to happen. The craziest part about the Dodgers blowing out the Yankees, and yes, I know a couple games were 1-run decisions and a game went to extras, but ask anybody who knows anything about ball, anything, and they'll tell you that series was a blowout. It was never competitive. It was never close. And you come to that conclusion and you start thinking that way, like how I think about that series, because the Dodgers played actually bad in the game they won the World Series. Like, the Dodgers actually didn't play good at all in Game 5. They didn't play well. They didn't necessarily earn the victory in terms of how they scored those runs. Now, they won the game, and I'm not taking that away from them. I'm not discrediting them. They were way better than the Yankees. When I say they didn't earn it, it's just that they didn't go out and just hit line drives, and smash balls in the gap and hit balls over the wall and have dominant pitching performances. Like Jack Flaherty came out, got smoked. Their offense was shut down for 5 innings. Frankly, they hadn't really got a true base hit. After Kike Hernandez broke it up in the 5th inning with a regular base hit single, they didn't really get a true base hit until Freddie Freeman with the bases loaded. But that was what, 6 batters later? The Dodgers didn't play well, and they won the World Series. And they won the game that clinched them the World Series. So that's the end of that. We incorporated that, by the way, in the new intro to the show. And that's kind of the baseball talking points we'll have just for today. But congratulations to the Dodgers. They won it all. They were a much better team than the Yankees. They were better than everybody they played in the postseason. The closest matchup they had was against my San Diego Padres, but ultimately they prevailed and then acknowledged after the fact that that was their World Series. And if anybody tries to tell you that the Padres weren't the second best team in the 2024 postseason, then just laugh it off and tell them that they don't know ball. Just tell them they don't know ball. The Dodgers were the best team. The Dodgers were the deepest team. The Dodgers were the most well-rounded team. The Dodgers had the best bullpen. They had the best lineup, 1 through 9. They were the best team, and they won the World Series. The second best team was the Padres. The Yankees, yes, they made the World Series. But the American League this year was a joke. It was a complete joke. In comparison to what the National League side of the bracket looked like. And if you had to rank the 8 remaining teams in the MLB postseason after the wild card round, the top 4 are from the NL and the bottom 4 are from the American League. That's just a fact of objective viewership. Sorry if that makes people angry, but the Yankees had 2.5 good hitters in their entire lineup. 2.5 good hitters. Good. The Phillies had 4 or 5 or 6. The Mets had 4, maybe 5. The Padres had 5 or 6. The Dodgers had 8. Right? The Yankees had 2 good starting pitchers. The Padres had 3. The Phillies had 3 or 4. The Mets had 4. The Dodgers starting pitching was completely wiped out, and they still had 2 or 3 really solid guys. The Yankees bullpen was good, but those other teams on the NL side bullpen were just as good, if not better, in the case of the Dodgers. So anybody telling you that the Yankees were the second best team because they lost the World Series, they don't know ball. So just laugh it off. They just don't know ball. They don't know ball. So, yeah, man, that's what we're looking at for baseball. Congrats to the Dodgers, like I said. And we're off to a hot start on episode 100. I mentioned previously in episodes 97, 98, 99, maybe even before that, teased out some potential partners and sponsorships that we'd be working with on our shows. And it was a work in progress. These things take time to develop, but ultimately, I wanted to take some time here before we dive into the other sports on the We Know Ball podcast. Before we dive into some NBA, college basketball starting, the NFL scoreboard, NFL standings, and talking points, and then college football as well. Wanted to talk a little bit about foregrips, guys. So, foregrips. Golf club grips available now. And if you're thinking about foregrips, why don't you ditch the rubbers and wrap your shaft? Bear with me. Okay? If you are a golfer, if you're interested in golf, guys, in any capacity, and I mean any capacity, if you're listening to the show and you're thinking about golfing, you already go golfing, if that's top golf, if that's actual, regular, consistent, on the course action, and you're looking for like a good golf grip, and you may not even know what that is, right? You're looking for a good golf grip on your golf club. I golf, and the clubs that I buy, they come with the generic grips on your shaft. Like, and I love going golfing, guys. I love playing golf. I love hitting balls at the range. But a lot of times, you take a few swings with those clubs and the generic grips that they come with, and it kind of sucks, right? Like, it actually kind of sucks. If you're looking for a better grip, if you're looking for that perfect grip, start swinging with foregrips, guys. I mean, foregrips, they got comfort, control, and style. It's kind of the ultimate combo when you're looking for a grip on your golf club. They've got thicker ones, they've got skinnier ones, customized designs. They're designed to elevate your game. Whether you're just a pro, you're hitting the green with your friends, the right grip on your golf club, guys, it seriously makes a difference. They got everything. They got modern styles. They got classic styles. Find a grip that fits you, because you can go on their site and check out different designs. And like I said, different looks, different thicknesses. They're engineered for durability, guys, giving you long-lasting comfort. Okay, so you can play stronger and with more confidence. Because when I grab my club and I approach the ball, I'm looking to take a good swing. It's about the comfort, right? The feeling you have as you stand over your ball and you're on the range or you're on the course or literally anywhere, guys. I mean, we're talking putt-putt at this point. You could take these foregrips with you to the putt-putt course on a putter of your choice, and you're more comfortable. And maybe you're super competitive. Maybe you just go with your girlfriend. Doesn't matter. If you're trying to have the most control and be the most comfortable, it's foregrips, guys. I mean, it's the easiest choice, okay? Head over to Four Golf Grips, and that's, one more time, foregolfgrips.com. And that's not the number 4, guys. F-O-R-E, foregolfgrips.com. Foregolfgrips.com. Check out all their different designs. See why so many golfers are making the switch from their generic grips over to foregrips. And right now, if you guys go over there and you're listening to the show, and you go to foregolfgrips.com, F-O-R-E, foregolfgrips.com, you can get 25% off with our exclusive listener discount. Just use our promo code WeKnowBall at checkout. That's all one word. That's all caps, WeKnowBall. 25% off at foregolfgrips.com. Guys, it's like, seriously, I have some. Like, I'm not going to partner with somebody if I don't think it's a legitimate or reliable product. Foregrips are sick, and you can get 25% off. So head over to their website right now and elevate your game, guys. I mean, play better golf, be more comfortable. And if you know ball and you're a listener to the show, or you're a part of it, into golf, want to get into golf, anything, guys, foregrips, okay? Ditch the rubbers, wrap your shaft, 25% off at checkout. We know ball. That's the code. And check them out, guys. So foregrips, appreciate them being a part of this program. Guys at foregrips know ball, right? I mean, it's clear as day. Clear as day. So, as we transition, got some news out of the world of basketball, okay? The Lakers have assigned Bronny James down to their G League affiliate after he started the season on the NBA roster, playing alongside his dad. And according to JJ Redick, obviously the head coach of the Lakers, he's quoted as saying that the plan for Bronny was to move between the Lakers and the G League team. And that's always been the plan since day one. I think as great as a player, okay, as great as a player as LeBron James is, I think this situation with Bronny James, his son, and the Lakers taking him in the draft and the nepotism involved in that, I think it's really embarrassing for the NBA. I think it's really embarrassing. The whole Bronny James situation with the Lakers is so embarrassing for the NBA. He's now been sent down to the G League affiliate. Starts the season with the Lakers. JJ Redick is saying that the plan was always for Bronny to bounce between the Lakers and the G League team. How about keep him in the G League for as long as you possibly can, because he's nowhere close to being ready to play in the National Basketball Association. Oh, wait, that's never going to happen because LeBron said so. Like, LeBron's an all-time great. LeBron's a phenomenal athlete, and it's absolutely remarkable what he's doing at this point in his life, at this age. But the situation with LeBron and Bronny and how it's being handled and how it transpired, it's so embarrassing for the NBA. It's so embarrassing. At what point does Adam Silver or the league step in and go, dude, like, you can't, LeBron, you can't just be basically the GM. You can't just force coaches to quit / fire them. You can't just have ultimate control over an entire organization. You can't have your son on the team when he's so clearly not ready to play. Now, that's under the discretion of the organization, but LeBron has the Lakers in a stranglehold. Like, LeBron has the entire Lakers organization in a stranglehold. He's holding the whole organization hostage with this situation with Bronny, who's, now been sent down to the G League affiliate. Why didn't he start the season down there? Why? It doesn't make any sense. Oh, wait, LeBron's running the entire organization, so his son starts the season on the opening roster. He gets to play alongside his son in the NBA, and it's a complete joke. Bronny James has gotten a little bit better. Some would say his, development in the very brief amount of time he's already been in the league has been decent. But LeBron James has the entire organization held hostage. I don't like how things are going, and we didn't ultimately perform well as a team. Fire the coach. We weren't very good. We need to improve. I need you to add handpicked this guy, and this guy. Okay, we've got these guys I picked. We've got the coach I picked. Now, forfeit any actual draft pick capital you may have and take my son, who's so clearly not ready to take the next step from college to the NBA. LeBron James is an all-time great in the NBA. I'm not going to be the guy to definitively say greatest of all time, but of course, he's in the conversation for the greatest basketball player ever, for sure. But the situation with his son and the way it's gone down with the Lakers so far is so embarrassing for everybody involved. For the front office with the Lakers, for LeBron, for his son, for the NBA. It's a complete joke, and it's discrediting the validity of the NBA. It's crazy. And it doesn't happen anywhere else, man. And it's just, I don't want it to be the case. I already know alongside most other people that the NBA itself is a bit of a sideshow as much as it is the actual product on the court. Everyone knows that, right? The NBA's got as much sideline and extracurricular action as it does actual NBA basketball playing action. But the LeBron situation is just, it does such a disservice to the credibility of the NBA and to the credibility of the Lakers, to the credibility of LeBron's legacy to a degree. You know, the joke is always made, how is this going to affect LeBron's legacy? And this situation with his son, it won't. It won't ultimately affect his legacy. If anything, it'll be just kind of a discussion or talking point that's brought up in you know, a positive frame of mind when you discuss the end of LeBron's career. And it's not going to affect his ultimate long-term legacy. But what it is right now is it's like really embarrassing. And it's super unfair to his son, who's clearly not ready to be in the NBA. It's unfair to the guys that his son's spots he's taking, right? It's unfair to the guys that would be potentially considered for that roster spot on the Lakers, but now they can't be because Bronny's on the team and taking a roster spot. Now Bronny's sent down to the G League, and they claim that the plan was always for him to bounce back and forth. Was it, though? Or was the plan to keep him up the whole year, but he was literally so bad that there was no choice? And it's not Bronny's fault that he's bad. He's not ready. That's okay. It's all right. Like, it's okay. Seriously. But for LeBron to be holding the Lakers organization hostage and pretty much threaten them that he's going to leave and go elsewhere if they don't commit to taking his son and forfeiting their draft pick, and he threatens to leave behind the scenes if they don't execute a head coaching plan exactly to his specifications, I think it's pretty lame. I think it's pretty lame. I'm not going to say it's ultimately damaging his long-term legacy, but I think it does a disservice and discredits the Lakers as an organization. It discredits the NBA a little bit. It's kind of embarrassing, if you ask me. And what kind of damage is this going to do for Bronny as he develops as a basketball player? He's going to be a good basketball player. I don't really have any doubt with that. But I also don't think it's going to do him a positive. How much better would he have been potentially next year if he had an entire extra year to develop, especially after dealing with these health complications that he had at USC, right? I mean, subconsciously, does Bronny even feel like he's earned it, right? Does he even feel like he deserves to be in the NBA? What's the motivation factor for him? Is he playing to submit his own legacy, or is he playing to appease his dad? Seriously. It's not the end of the world. Like, I know he'll probably be fine. But I think a lot of people agree that the best thing for Bronny James is to not play with his dad. Like, think about the pressure. Not anything basketball related. Think about the fact that his name is Bronny James. Like, your dad is LeBron. There's always going to be that cloud over his head forever until he becomes anywhere near the basketball player his dad was, which, as it turns out, probably won't happen. He's not as big. He's not as athletic. LeBron James is obviously a genetic freak. Bronny James isn't quite as, dynamic as an athlete, and that's okay. He could cement his own legacy. But for his dad to have him on this leash and to have the Lakers on another leash, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I think ultimately it's going to hurt Bronny more than it's benefiting him. I don't know. I don't love it, man. Moving on to the NFL. Nope, college. College. So we got our first college football playoff rankings with the 12-team format. Let's go, man. Let's go. First college football playoff ranking. And there's a couple discrepancies between the AP top 25 and the college football playoff rankings. The highest two-loss team in the college football playoff rankings is Alabama at 6-2. It's looking more and more likely that it's a two-loss team could potentially get into the playoff. However, Alabama's the highest ranked two-loss team, and they're at 11. Okay, so they're one spot away, right, from ultimately kind of getting bounced out of the consideration. As it stands now, the college football playoff rankings are as follows. Number 1 is Oregon. Number 2 is Ohio State. Number 3 is Georgia. Number 4 is Miami. Number 5 is Texas. Number 6 is Penn State. Number 7 is Tennessee. Number 8 is Indiana. Number 9 is BYU. Number 10 is Notre Dame. Number 11 is Alabama. And number 12 is Boise State. Okay. So the top 4 teams in the college football playoff bracket is different than the top 4 teams in the rankings, if that makes any sense. Because it's not just the top 4 teams in the rankings. It's the top 4 highest ranked conference champions when it's all said and done. Now, what they're saying is theoretically, Georgia would be the SEC champion. They got to play in the game itself, of course, at the end of the season. But like Texas is at number 5, Tennessee's at number 7, Alabama's at number 11. Like those are all the also SEC teams. So Georgia's the highest ranked SEC team. So they, get a bye. Oregon is 1, Ohio State is 2. They're both in the Big Ten. So in the top 4, you have 2 teams in the Big Ten. And when the final rankings and the bracket itself comes out of the top 12, the top 4 teams get a bye in the bracket. And the top 4 teams in the college football playoff bracket, when it's all said and done, are the top 4 highest ranked conference champions. So they're saying basically, if today the season ended, right, and there was no conference championship games, Oregon's the highest rated team in the Big Ten. So they get the number 1 seed. The number 2 ranked team is Ohio State, but they're also in the Big Ten, so they don't get the automatic bid. And the next highest ranked team that's in its own conference is BYU. BYU's at number 9, and if the season ended today, of course, without the conference championship games, BYU would be the Big 12 champs. So that puts them in the sense of the bracket in the number 4 spot and getting an automatic bye. So again, if the bracket were to come out today and the conference champions were just the highest rated teams, here's how the bracket itself would look. Number 1 would be Oregon. Number 2 would be Georgia. Number 3 would be Miami. And number 4 would actually be BYU. Now the rankings there is 1 Oregon, number 3 Georgia, number 4 Miami, number 9 BYU. If that makes sense. Those are the 4 highest rated conference champions. After that, on the outskirts of the bracket, Indiana would play against Tennessee. Boise State would play against Ohio State. Notre Dame would play at Penn State, and Alabama would play at Texas. So that would be really fun. I think all those games would be great. I think Notre Dame, Penn State would be awesome. I think Bama, Texas would be awesome. Indiana and Tennessee would be awesome, right? It would be absolutely awesome. And those first 4 games on the outskirts of the bracket are played on campus, which is so sick. So sick. And yeah, I mean, I think the first bits of the college football playoff ranking are awesome. And I really think, it's gonna be so entertaining when it's all said and done. We'll see ultimately what happens, guys, but yeah, I'm just really excited for it. I'm excited for, these teams now have played 8 games. They only played 12 in the entire season. So we got a month left of regular season college football. Then we've got conference championship games. And then, of course, we have the college football playoff. Like, how cool is that? And it's a 12-team playoff. So that's going to go down, for a while. Like, a while. There's 12 teams. They're going to play round 1. They're going to play round 2. And they're going to get down to the final 4. And then they got the national championship. I mean, it's awesome. It's just, I really think it's super cool. So excited for those developments and how those things ultimately unfold. In terms of the college football scoreboard this upcoming week, as we record here later on in week 11, later on after week 10, looking up into week 11, there's a ton of top 25 college football matchups that will, have playoff implications. I mean, starting with probably the biggest game potentially, or at least, nighttime televised game, number 11, Alabama playing at number 15, LSU, right? I mean, Alabama's a number 11 team right now. They would be in the playoff if the season ended today. You've got number 3, Georgia taking on number 16, Ole Miss, at Ole Miss. Georgia's only favored by 3 points, right? If Georgia loses and Ole Miss wins, where do they both end up? That probably springboards Ole Miss into the top 12 in some capacity. And then the rest of the scoreboard and, the rest of the games and stuff, they probably won't be incredibly competitive. But you've got a number 20 Colorado team going on the road at Texas Tech in the Big 12. Colorado wins that game, they're 7-2 going into this week as the number 20 ranked team in the country. Where do they find themselves? 18? 16? Right? Who loses in front of them? Who loses in front of them? So you never know what's going to happen there. But there's a couple of really big SEC games this weekend that are going to have major playoff implications. So I'm excited for that. It's going to be awesome. Keep your eyes out. We'll definitely have an episode coming out here towards the back end of the week 11. I don't think there's any like Monday games or weird games. Doesn't look like it. So it'll be after week 11 for the next episode. But really excited about that. So moving on from college football and the rankings, lastly here, as we wrap up episode 100 and looking ahead to tonight's game, as well as the Sunday slate of action in week 10 of the NFL. So NFL action starts tonight for week 10, Thursday night football, Bengals at the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens are favored there by 6.5. 52.5 is your over-under. The Bengals have improved drastically. They started the season, I think, 0-3 or 1-4. Well, they're 4-5, and a win tonight would get them back to 500. The Ravens have looked borderline unstoppable, besides a couple of mishaps here and there. But ultimately, last week, they put up a monster performance against the Denver Broncos and a very impressive defense in the Denver Broncos. Ravens put up like 40-something. Just the combo of Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, Bateman. Like, the Ravens offense is dynamic. It is dynamic. It is efficient. They move the ball in small bursts. They move the ball in big chunks. They have a good enough defense. They have, good kicker to a point where, again, the Ravens should be expecting an AFC championship type of run. That being said, as we move ahead to Sunday's games, one of the first games to unfold. Well, first, there's the Sunday morning NFL Munich, Germany game between the Giants and the Panthers. I don't know what Germany did to deserve the Giants versus the Panthers, but that game is going to stink. It starts early in the morning for me, local time. I mean, early in the morning, just from an objective point of view, on a Sunday, but it's 9:30 a.m. Eastern on a Sunday, but that's 6:30 a.m. on the West Coast. Now, it's featuring two East Coast teams, so I get it, but it's like, brother, that's crazy. But anyways, the Giants and Panthers play in Germany on Sunday morning, so go ahead and just literally scrap that game. But the other game I was getting to that's included in the first slate of games on Sunday, in reference to the Ravens and the AFC, is the Broncos and the Chiefs. Broncos at the Chiefs. Now, I am a Broncos fan. It's not about the Broncos, who have looked decent this year, looked good. It's about the Chiefs, man. The Chiefs are 8-0. They are 8-0, and Patrick Mahomes hasn't even played well. Like, he literally hasn't played well. He has 1,900 yards in 8 games. He has 11 touchdowns, and he has 9 interceptions. Now, not all the interceptions are on him, and everybody knows that. But the Ravens' biggest threat is going to be Kansas City. It's going to be between those two. I know Buffalo will also be mixed into that, but you can't have 3 teams playing in the same game. So more than likely, it's going to be, I think what would be awesome is on one side having, the Ravens and Bills play each other. And then you could have the Chiefs and, the Steelers, or the Chiefs and I don't know who else, the Texans or something. But it's a 3-horse race. It's a 3-horse race in the AFC between the Ravens, the Chiefs, and the Bills. I think for the first time, considering all weapons that are available at their disposal, the Ravens probably have the best and most dynamic offense in the AFC and probably the NFL, right? But they're 6-3, while the Chiefs are 8-0 without Rashee Rice, without Isaiah Pacheco, with a deteriorating Travis Kelce, with an average level of play from Patrick Mahomes. Their defense is insane. They're top 5 in most metrics. And the Chiefs are going to be a force, just once again, to be reckoned with. Probably looking at a 3-peat for them. I mentioned the Giants and Panthers. Other games on Sunday, you got the Patriots at the Bears. The Bears if they have another putrid performance like they have the last few weeks, I'm going to lay into them next week, and I have nothing to lose or gain from that. It's just embarrassing. Like we've said, it's about accountability, right? They're 4-0 at home, but they're 0-4 on the road. So, interesting to see what will happen there. I don't think they'll lose, but I don't know. Other games here, the Bills play the Colts. Falcons play the Saints. Saints have fired their head coach. Saints are a brutal, dysfunctional organization. 49ers go to Tampa Bay and play the Bucks. The Steelers play the Commanders on Sunday morning. That's going to be awesome. I think that'll be a very good football game. The Vikings play the Jaguars. Interested to see how that goes. It is in Jacksonville, but we'll see. The Titans play the Chargers in Los Angeles. The Eagles play the Cowboys without Dak Prescott. The Jets play the Cardinals on Sunday afternoon, which will be a fun game. The Lions play the Texans on Sunday Night Football. And then Monday night, you got Dolphins and Rams. So the primetime games there on the back end, Lions and Texans, and then Dolphins, Rams on Monday night. Those would be 2 really good games. Tua's obviously back for the Dolphins. The Lions are 7-1. Texans are 6-3. It'll be a good game, a good kind of slate of games there. I'm excited for a few of these matchups. A couple of them are stinkers and snoozers, but rather it be, the stinky teams play each other and then the good teams play each other. That's kind of what we got in some areas. Got some good matchups. I'm excited for it. Hopefully you guys are too. It's going to be fun. And that was episode 100 for you guys. Didn't dive into too much in the NFL because there's not a lot to discuss right now. Not a lot of like monster storylines that have transpired between the last episode and this week's episode. But we were able to complete out and finish episode 100. As we wrap up episode 100 here, again, guys, be sure to check out Foregrips, okay? If you're looking for that perfect grip, and you're going out to golf with your buddies, you're going out on the course. If you have no idea what golf is, but you say, let's go play some mini golf. Let's go to Top Golf. Let's go to a driving range or a simulator or anything. And you have any control over the clubs that you're taking and using. It's your own driver. It's your own putter. Any of those things. Forgolfgrips.com, F-O-R-E, forgolfgrips.com. They got everything from classic to modern style golf grips. You can find a grip that fits you perfectly. They're designed to elevate your game, whether you're like a high level golfer, right? Like kind of a pro, low handicap, or you're just hitting balls with your buddies, man. Seriously. If you go to forgolfgrips.com, use the code WeKnowBall. That's all caps, one word, WeKnowBall. You get 25% off. I mean, that's a pretty good deal. So head to their site now, Forgolfgrips. That's F-O-R-E, forgolfgrips.com. Ditch the rubbers, wrap your shaft. Enjoy that product, guys, and make sure to use our discount code if you do head over there. They got great products, man. I don't really know what else to tell you guys. You're missing out if you play golf in any capacity and you're not going to their site to buy golf grips at a 25% discount that are high level. Like, it makes a huge difference. But that's just me. Either way, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed episode 100 of the We Know Ball podcast. It's a pretty cool milestone for us, but we have a long way to go. We have a ton of areas that we can grow and improve together. Hopefully we can maybe get some guests on, maybe dive into the more important storylines with prominent figures and people that are relevant in those storylines, beat reporters, guys within the organization, maybe some players. Like, there's a lot to discuss, a lot to go over, and a lot to talk about in the coming days, weeks, and months as we get into the meat of November. We head towards Thanksgiving, get into December and the holiday season. It's absolutely beautiful. I love it, guys. Once again, congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers, World Series champions. Got them featured on the new intro and outro. So overall, guys, hopefully you enjoyed episode 100 and any episodes before this. Really appreciate anybody and everybody that are tuning in and any type of regular basis, semi-regular basis. If you got the episodes, guys, be sure to pass them along to your friends and family. My Twitter handle is @RyanKnowsBall. Our handles for the other channels on Instagram and TikTok @WeKnowBallSports. Check us out on YouTube. Really appreciate anybody and everybody that tunes in. Be sure to check out forgolfgrips.com. Get some nice golf grips for yourself. Get a nice discount with the We Know Ball code. We're moving and grooving, guys. We're going to keep grinding, keep getting after it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the ride along the way. If this is your first episode, hopefully you enjoyed that. If it's not your first episode, thanks for coming back. We will certainly see anybody and everybody next time for episode 101. But otherwise, we know ball, you know ball. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.
We know ball.
First and goal. Mahomes flings it. It's there! Hardman! Jackpot! Kansas City!
It's over. Time to say it again, Boston. Anything's possible. Banner number 18 has been secured. The Celtics are NBA champions.
I mean, we know that we know ball around here.
Hail, hail, Michigan. They are the champions of college football 2023.
Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
It is a UConn coronation. The Huskies make history. Back-to-back national champions.
Well, we know ball, so